Welcome back to the Last Week This Week podcast, episode 22. I'm Ian Scott.
And I'm his co-host, Zack Huber.
That's right. And this is the podcast where we talk about nerd culture topics from the past week and this week. And we have a bunch of stuff we want to go over with you guys. Some Loki and Echo news.
From the MCU.
Yep.
The MCU, as some people would know. Not us. Captain America news.
Yeah, some leaks there. Superman Legacy casting news.
Yes, Freaky Friday.
Yeah.
If anybody remembers that movie.
The Acolyte.
Yep. And we're going to do our finale of the whole show of Titans at the very end.
Yep. And we got a hypothetical segment as always.
Yeah. But we'll have chapters that you can jump to if you don't want to listen to anything that we're going to start off with.
Yep.
But we are going to start off with the Echo and Loki news.
Yeah, this is kind of big. I mean, Loki hasn't had a release date for some time.
I was under the impression before everything changed that it was gonna do the summer thing again, because it came out in the summer of 2020.
I think that was the original plan, that it was gonna come out in July, but then Secret Invasion kind of took that time slot. So I just assumed it was gonna be fall, and then October 6th makes sense. But the biggest news out of this is the Echo release date, because I was under the impression that we were only getting 2 shows this year and they were just going to push everything else back.
Yeah, you were thinking that, yeah.
Yeah, but it looks like we're getting a 3rd show, although I'm not sure how confident Marvel is in it, because they're releasing all of the episodes on November 29th.
Yeah. Do you know how many episodes in total it is?
I mean, obviously it's at least 6, but I haven't heard more than that. I'd be surprised if it got more than 6, considering she's a very low-key character for the MCU.
Yeah. So my thoughts is pretty much the same, which is you would, with most of these Disney Plus shows, I don't know, even with like stuff like the National Treasure series and like the Santa Claus show that came out, which like maybe there was an audience, like a big audience for that, or could be. But
I think there was a little bit, because at least the Clauses thing got renewed for a 2nd season.
Did it?
It did, yeah.
So I can't say that, I'm hoping that it is good and there's some reason why it's all dropping at once, but my gut instinct is they made this thing, and let's just
see what people think about it.
But it's weird, because even if it's not great, if that's the case, you would still probably do good by still having consistent content coming out weekly,
maybe
as a streaming platform.
I mean, it's not like Miss Marvel did great numbers wise, this past year.
Did it not?
Here's the thing. It started off
it's probably still it got like more and more people as it went along, though.
Probably, but I know it like was disadvantaged by coming out at the same time as Obi-Wan. So I think Obi-Wan stole the hype for sure in Disney Plus.
Yeah, but Ms. Marvel was the better show.
It was for most of it. Yeah, I'll agree with you there. But yeah, I think it's interesting, because like my thought on this is that they don't want this show to run into the next year. I feel like they just
definitely would run into the next year.
They want to keep it compiled into 2023, and I think with doing it all at once, you get people talking about it like all right there in that 1 week, and then it's just gone. Like, it's gone from people's minds, or people will just be like, "Oh, remember that show?" I don't know. It's gonna like come into our minds and disappear very quickly. And,
I think you're probably right.
Unless here's the thing: unless it sets up Daredevil Born Again really well, because that's kind of the rumors that's been going on with the show, is that like at one point I was hearing that Daredevil was going to be in it, and he was going to have a whole storyline in that.
Yeah.
Where he would be finding an old ally, which I think would be Punisher at this point.
Yeah.
And obviously, and Hawkeye, if you haven't seen that, spoilers, but she, is the kind of the right-hand woman to Kingpin. And the show ends with her firing a gun at his face. So that's got to go somewhere,
and
obviously.
not dead.
No, of course he's not dead. In his first appearance back as Kingpin, he's not dead.
No.
Right. So yeah, I think I'm curious to see more Kingpin, however he's portrayed. But
I just don't know. It makes me be like I'm scared that it's gonna do like a Boba Fett thing, where maybe
they just ignore the main character.
Well, because from what I understand from the series is she's going back to her hometown sort of situation in like the Midwest.
Oh,
and
I don't know if I like that.
And then I don't know, Daredevil, and so like I'm wondering if it's like there's gonna be like two separate timeline things occurring, or half of it is her like relearning who she is, and then the next half of it is her like joining up with Daredevil and
as many series that there are, or like series and movies in the MCU that have taken place in New York, I still want this one to take place in New York. Like I feel like that's where everyone is. That's where the whole story is. Yes, maybe for a couple episodes she goes back to her hometown. Yeah. If that's the case, that's fine. Whatever. Like flesh out the character. But if the whole series is taken there, that's not great.
I don't think it will.
Yeah.
But I think even in the logo, it might be like a field or something.
Oh, is it?
I
don't know. It doesn't look very...
I can look it up again really quick. Echo show MCU. Let's see. It looks very Star Warsy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there was any like design work that
it's
implied.
a field. It's a field. Yep. It's a field. Yep. Here it is. A field.
Oh, okay.
Like a wheat field.
You're kind of right.
Yeah. So maybe it is all in the Midwest, which could be cool. Like maybe like a Fargo MCU situation.
I guess you'd have to really put out a really good mystery for that to be the case, but yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think we're all feeling like maybe MCU doesn't have confidence in the show.
Yeah,
but we'll see when it comes out.
Yeah,
we'll
see. So the next piece that we're going to talk about is also MCU related, which is we got our first look, among other things, with this, but we got our first look at Anthony Mackie's Captain America
New World Order suit.
Yeah. So if you don't want to be spoiled, I guess, skip ahead. It's not really that much of a spoiler. It's just a suit.
It's really visual stuff we're talking about.
But in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, he ends up being Captain America, and he comes in. And he's got
this amazing suit on.
Amazing white, red, and blue, because it's mostly white suit. And in this image, it's very reminiscent of Winter Soldier vibes.
Suit,
like stealth suit vibes.
Very
so
navy blue.
Yeah. With like a gold star on the chest.
A little red in there. Yeah.
Yeah. You got this. He still has the goggles on. I like it. I'll say before we get into anything, I like it.
Yeah.
But I hope it's. I not that like if it was the main suit for the whole movie, it's a suit, like it's fine. But I would be like, I guess I still hope that the white suit is a big part of it, because that was a really great suit, and I would hate that we only got to see it in the show and not in like his first full-length movie.
I think I'm right there with you. I was very upset to see this suit, because
I wasn't upset.
I was upset.
So that's surprising.
Because here's the thing. Marvel has already had a little bit of a history of changing like
suits very
quick, very fast.
Like Kamala Khan coming up.
Right. And like, we got this great suit from WandaVision of Wanda as the Scarlet Witch at the end of her show, but then they changed it. It's not like it was a huge change.
Yeah, because I'm not thinking that I noticed that at all. I really like the Multiverse of Madness suit.
I like her WandaVision suit way better, to be honest. But I think it's just a scary like notion that we're maybe not going to get this Captain America Falcon suit that we got at the end of Captain America or Falcon Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I don't think it like the new one looks bad, but the last one was perfect. Like there's literally no reason to change it.
I am looking at the WandaVision suit.
Mhm.
It's
not drastically different.
It is,
but it's different, and I think it's a little worse in Multiverse of Madness.
I see what you're saying, but I do like. That's a rough one. That's a tough one,
right? Because the WandaVision one's really good.
Because I guess the multiverse one is more.
It's more dark, more
dark, more like not. I liked Eternals, but more like Eternals-y.
Oh, interesting.
Like it's more thinner, more sleeker, more almost like runes. Like I don't know, but I don't know. It's kind of cool. I like the blue. I just why do we got to switch it so drastically, so fast? But it might just be like on a mission,
right? Because
one mission.
Even in the Marvels, Kamala Khan is seen with her old suit, like her first suit. So there's that. I will say we also get a look at the Falcons, like the new Falcon suit. I don't know. Yeah, I mean it's not even as good of a look as like the Captain America one you see here, but basically you see that it's in a brown and green color scheme.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I'll have to look at that, but that sounds cool.
Yeah, I mean like you really don't get a good look at the suit, but you can tell what the colors are.
So and we're thinking Anthony Mackie is gonna wear it?
No. Remember? Do you not remember the sidekick that he brought up from in Falcon Winter Soldier?
So he's gonna
for sure. I think he's gonna be the Falcon.
Oh,
I mean, even at the end of that show, they were like, "Keep the suit," you know? Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see that.
Yeah.
We also got news that Seth Rollins was cast in the movie.
Now, I'm not a WWE guy.
I'm not either.
So
I don't know much about Seth Rollins.
I don't know what this means.
I think it means he's going to be a villain. I think
probably.
I think he has a menacing presence. But
why is it that like every WWE star has to be the villain? And also, why is this the second WWE star that Anthony Mackie's character has to fight? That we know of.
That's fair. Maybe I don't know. I mean,
I saw the pictures. He looks like he's a villain
for sure, and it could very much be a like a Crossbone situation where he like shows up at the beginning of the movie and he's just a villain to take down. I don't know what villain he'd play, but
yeah. I guess if you're a WWE fan, this is
cool.
Kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because
I don't think Seth Rollins acted much before this, right?
Yeah, it's probably going to be like a pretty physical role, and he's probably gonna, say some one-liners, and then he's gonna get taken down pretty easily. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So we also have a little bit of MCU Sony news more to tell you. Venom and Deadpool have working titles. They're not official titles, but they're like the code names for these.
Yeah.
So Deadpool is called Project Tidal Wave.
Yeah.
And Venom is titled Project Orwell.
Or it's at least called Venom Orwell.
Sure.
Orwell,
so basically, I've just put the project before that. Yeah.
So for the Deadpool one, and I guess I should preface that just because a movie has a working title doesn't mean that it has anything that's going to end up being related to the movie.
Right. I mean, Star Wars was Blue Harvest.
Yes.
So yeah.
So and I think for the longest time the working title for Captain America 3 was Serpent Society. That didn't turn out to be true.
No, yeah, it did not.
But in looking into what could be's and kind of what's the word theorize
sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, theorize,
but I guess the theorize on it is it was comicbook.com or comicbookmovie.com was saying that tidal wave could be a reference to the massive oceanic surge that flooded New York City during the ultimatum storyline, which had Magneto seeking vengeance for the death of his children in the Ultimates. Now, I do think that it is
might be a bit of a stretch.
Yeah. but
Because X-Men are not introduced yet.
that we know of.
No, we know right now the MCU doesn't have the X-Men.
Yeah, but I'm saying like
Yeah.
with this, could it be a tidal wave of mutants into the MCU? Could
Now
it be
that I like more as a theory. I think that's a good theory.
Is it a tidal wave of multiversal, like a wave of multiversal things happening that Wolverine and Deadpool get wrapped up in? Because I guarantee this is going to be a multiverse movie in some way.
You think we're gonna get a little oversaturated with multiverse movies?
You think we haven't already?
It's just we've only gotten like 3 so far.
3? You mean in the MCU?
Well, 2 in the MCU, and then we got 1, which was like one of the greatest movies of all time last year. Everything Ever All at Once,
And we had Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yes,
which is a multiverse movie.
Well, I mean, this next one is going to be a multiverse movie, isn't it?
They're both multiverse though.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, when I don't think it was intentional by any means.
Yeah.
That like Sony did it, and well, that one maybe we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
But with Everything Everywhere All at Once, I don't think so. And with The Flash, I definitely don't think so.
We got The Flash coming up. Yeah, didn't even say that.
But yeah, I mean, I think when you base your entire next 3 phases off of
the multiverse, yeah,
it's just because now it's all your movies are based on this this I don't know, this idea, this thing that's happening. All of your movies,
all the stories are kind of centered around that.
Yeah. As opposed to you could have the Infinity Stones just be laid in there a little bit, and you can tell a story.
Tell individual stories.
But now when you have the multiverse, it's like it opens up all these different possibilities, and it all bleeds into all the other stories that you're like, if you definitely had never seen like Marvel stuff, like I could see you getting even more lost than you normally would.
For sure. Yeah.
Which I don't think beforehand you would necessarily get lost. But I don't know. I mean, going back to Deadpool, I think it'll be multiversal. I think that's why Wolverine is in it.
I mean,
and I think Professor X is going to be in it.
There's a reason. Like there's going to be a reason. And I think that's why
Deadpool's going to show up in the MCU.
Like there's going to be a reason these guys are in the MCU finally. They're not just going to be like, yep, we've been around this whole time. They're not going to be variants or anything.
No.
I think it's going to be the ones that we have been watching. Although I could see Hugh Jackman playing a different Wolverine than the one we've been seeing.
That's what I think.
Right.
But I think we're still going to get our own Wolverine in the MCU.
That's not Hugh Jackman.
That's not Hugh Jackman.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I think this is pretty much a one-time thing for Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think it has anything to do with an actual tidal wave.
Agreed. I think your theories are good. The last 2. Yeah.
The Venom one also, either as comic book movie or comicbook.com was that it could be, so it's Venom Orwell, could be a reference to Orwell Taylor, who seeks vengeance. A lot of seeking vengeance.
Yeah, it's
after Venom kills his son
after like a prison break, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then he creates this like group called the Jury to like go out and kill Venom, right? Yeah. I mean, here's the thing: if that's the story, that sounds way more interesting than anything we got in the first 2 movies.
Yeah.
So that's cool with me. I'm cool with that story. That doesn't involve another symbiote. That would be great. I'd be so happy about that.
I will guarantee you that there will be another symbiote because at the end of Carnage, the police officer who was kind of helping Eddie, or I don't even remember. But he shows up at the cathedral and he gets that symbiote on him.
Okay, so here's the thing. What if they just ignore that last scene like Shazam ignored their last end credit scene?
But that, from what I remember, that wasn't even an end credit scene.
That's fine. They can ignore it. Please ignore it, Venom. I don't need to see a third symbiote fight you. I've had enough like bland fights.
I feel you. I do.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Yeah.
But I think it's gonna happen. And I'm not necessarily opposed to it. I like the idea of the jury. I think if I'm not mistaken, I think they were even on the old Spider-Man show from the 90s.
Oh yeah,
like animated show.
Nice.
And basically they all have technology that's specific to fucking with symbiotes.
Okay.
So
that's cool. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if I think like it could be wrong. This could easily not be the case.
Mm-hmm.
But I get the feel, like I feel like this is a great story idea. Like
right.
Venom either mistakenly kills somebody or kills somebody for like the right reasons and like the son, and then
I do think they'll switch that out, like the origin of that, because like at this point I believe when we see Venom again, like the movie's gonna open up on like them crime fighting as good guys.
Yeah.
And so I think maybe something goes wrong there. It's not gonna be like a Prison Break like how the comics have it. I think they'll be doing something good, and then the son would die from that. And then this guy would maybe take revenge based off of like, oh, you weren't careful enough. You were careless.
Right. But
Yeah.
I think oh, is it that Venom was breaking out of the vault? Because it wasn't specifically
I think he was breaking out of the vault.
Oh,
Yeah.
All right.
I could be wrong about that though. But
yeah, I didn't see if it specifically said who was breaking out. While the anti-hero kills his son while escaping from the vault.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Okay.
Mhm.
Also, we didn't go over this necessarily,
Mhm.
but Chiwetel Ejiofor joined Venom 3. So
I saw his picture, but I can't.
The actor that plays Mordo in Doctor Strange.
Yes.
And 12 Years a Slave and lots of other movies.
Yeah. I mean, cool, good actor.
Good actor.
Yeah.
Would be
nice to have a role
cool
to
if
pair him up
maybe
with.
he's this Orwell Taylor, maybe.
I'd be okay with that. Yeah.
It says he's playing opposite Tom Hardy, but
I mean, that to me sounds like he's the antagonist, you know, if he's the opposite, playing opposite Tom Hardy, you know? So yeah, that's cool. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
These are all good details for Venom 3.
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't know if Andy Serkis is directing again. I don't think he is. Is,
I don't know if that's a loss. I don't think the first two Venom movies had great direction, and I think he's a better actor than maybe a director.
In some ways, Carnage, Venom Let There Be Carnage had a little bit more going for it for me.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
I know you like that more than the first one.
I did. But there were things about the first one that I kind of like more than Carnage.
Yeah.
So, but none of them neither one of them am I like, man, I can't wait to watch that again.
Yeah.
Because Carnage was my favorite. Like,
your favorite like villain?
Well, maybe not villain, but definitely like one of my favorite Spider-Man villains. And I always preferred Carnage over Venom.
Oh, interesting.
And to see them just, make Carnage this really, really boring ass Carnage. Like, that is not Carnage.
So you didn't like Woody Harrelson, his portrayal either? Or
him as Cletus was kind of cool.
It was interesting.
I didn't like the symbiote. The symbiote was not
the personality you wanted attached or
no,
anything.
He wasn't. The symbiote was not fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I
guess Carnage kind of implies that, but like, because Carnage can be crazy, right? But
yeah, but like, have you ever seen like the animated show or any?
No.
He's fucking crazy.
Oh, okay.
Like, he's insane.
Oh, you're saying in the movie he wasn't crazy?
No.
Okay.
Like,
I forgot.
And
honestly.
like, I don't know. Like, it's a little thing, but like his voice being like low, like Venom. Too. I was like, no, it's supposed to be like higher, and like he's a fucking maniac and he just likes killing people.
That would have went super well in line with Cletus Cassidy.
Yes, so that was like it was just so frustrating. I was like, that's not Carnage.
Yeah, that's upsetting. Venom 2.0, really.
Yeah.
Well, on the other side of the aisle, the table, or the coin, or whatever you want to call it, we have some Superman Legacy casting kind of confirmations or reports. James Gunn hasn't confirmed any of these, but he's not going to comment on people who are auditioning for his movies.
Yeah.
So basically, we found out that David Cornsweet, Tom Brittney, and Andrew Richardson are all up for the Superman role. Nicholas Hoult is up for Lex Luthor, and Emma Mackey, Phoebe Dynevor, Samara Weaving, and Rachel Brosnahan, I'm sorry if I butchered any of those names, are up for Lois Lane.
Who did you say after Tom Brittney or before Tom Brittney?
Before I said David Cornsweet.
Who's the other one?
Andrew Richardson.
Andrew Richardson.
Now, I think first off, Nicholas Hoult is, I think, a great pick for Lex Luthor.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's just a really great actor, and I'd be very curious to see him in a sinister villain kind of role. Although I think what makes him so great is that I think you could easily see him as like a friend of Clark's at first, and like a sweet like misleading person that turns into this kind of like menacing businessman, scientist, who's
deceitful.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other two that are my favorites for these roles, I think Emma Mackey is perfect for Lois Lane.
I'm gonna look up Emma Mackey. I didn't get to look at the names before we started.
No problem. I guess I recognize her from the movie.
I love her.
Yeah, she's from Death on the Nile. That's what I saw her in first.
She's in Sex Education.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I thought she was. I don't think the movie Death on the Nile is really great. I think it's good, but I think she was good in it. So I mean, and I think she has the perfect look for Lois Lane.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think she'll kill it. The other for Superman that I think is perfect is David Cornsweet, or Sweet, or whatever, how you want to pronounce his name. It's only one E at the end. So, but to me, I haven't seen him in anything, so I don't know his acting chops. But to me, he has the look and the build and the height. And yeah, I think to me, he's the first actor I've been able to see, like besides Henry Cavill, where I'm like, oh, I could be into this.
Yeah, I looked up the other two guys. I'm not really familiar with them.
I'm not familiar with a lot of these names, but
I could
look-wise,
I could see like Tom Brittney a little bit. The other guy, the Andrew guy,
he's
not so much.
He's too thin looking to me. Like I don't know if even if him like bulked, I don't know if he would have the right build.
But yeah, I mean that other David, he looks like
like Superman. Yeah.
But it's a little bit more. He's got to be able to act it.
Right.
But
so I mean, I'm sure
does look like Superman.
I'm sure he has a lot of acting credits to his name. I just don't know, what I would have seen him in, if anything. So,
So for me, I'm not the Emma Mackey one. That's exciting because I love her.
Nice.
Not a whole lot of the names like pop out, but the idea of Nicholas Hoult, it's interesting. Did you know that he was the runner-up to play Batman?
Yeah.
To Robert Pattinson,
and he said recently too that he thinks like him missing out on that part was the right call, because he doesn't believe he could have got to the point of like where Robert Pattinson got to with his portrayal of like Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Which I fully agree, because I really only think Robert Pattinson can play that role the way he did it.
I won't say that, but I do think that
I just think his performance is pretty masterful in that movie for me.
It's great. Yeah. It's just it's because we saw it that way.
Sure. I guess it's hard for me to imagine Nicholas Hoult in that role now.
Yeah.
Because of that. But yeah, I think this is the kind of exact role I would pick for him.
I don't know if this is the exact role that I would pick for Nicholas Hoult to play, because for me,
sure, it doesn't suit his like what we've seen him do really well in the past, but I want to see him go that far,
Yeah, I would love for him to bulk up for the role.
You think Lex Luthor needs to bulk up?
Yeah.
Why?
He's not like a shit ton, but like a good bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like I think for me, like I just grew up with Lex Luthor. Yeah, he's a business guy, but he was still pretty like
I guess
physical.
the thing is there too is that like Lex wanted to be like Superman in like every way.
Exactly.
Right. So him building his physique makes sense.
So I guess that's where I'm with that. And eventually I would love to see the Lex of this new DC universe be able to take on more physical roles where he is able to go into like the mech suit that he builds and do fighting like that.
I guess for me is like, if he has a mech suit, why does he need to be buff? But I get your other point, you know?
I mean, I think you gotta have some, to be in a suit, and control the thing and the fight. Like you can't be like a fucking frail. You're gonna get crumpled in it and not be able to move it.
Maybe.
But I think Nicholas Holt's an interesting pick.
Yeah, I think
not the idea that, but like I don't know what kind of Lex Luthor they're going for. So who knows?
I mean, for me,
he better be bald.
Yeah, I don't see there's a way that he's not bald because that went so well last time.
They did it with Jesse Eisenberg.
I know, well, that's what I'm referencing.
They did it with what's his name from the original Superman. He had hair.
Oh, from 78?
Yeah. Yeah.
I forgot about that.
And then he became bald.
I guess I'm thinking of like the Superman Returns iteration.
Yes.
And then you have like what was the one? I don't think it's a great interpretation, but what was the one John Cryer was a part of?
John who?
John Cryer. Do you remember that he was Lex?
John Cryer.
He I don't know if you remember, but he was in 2.5 Men as Charlie's brother, and he played Lex at some point.
Wait, like the guy from Pretty in Pink?
Yeah,
played Lex Luthor. Let me look this up. What? He's bald.
He's bald. Yeah, he went full bald for it. Yeah.
Oh, he was in.
Was he in the CW?
Yeah.
Was it Supergirl?
In Supergirl, yes.
Okay.
In Supergirl, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess I mean,
crazy.
It's very weird.
What?
But like all the ones I can think of have been bald. But yeah, I believe Nicholas Hoult will be bald for this role.
Will he have a beard?
If it's a younger Superman adaptation, he might not have a beard yet.
Facial hair.
Yeah,
of any kind.
I think facial hair has to grow into the second movie,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm intrigued. The Superman options are at least 2 of them. I think the third one, he could be the one. I don't know. I don't see it at the moment.
Right, yeah.
But yeah.
But David Cornsweet or whatever you want to call his name.
Cornsweet. Sweet corn. That's why he's gonna get the part, because he's the sweet
you're right.
corn.
Holy crap! From
Kansas.
Yeah. Wow. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Well, our hypothetical kind of leads right off of this question. I asked this week for our hypotheticals that if you were in charge of casting for your favorite superhero at DC, who would you pick?
Now my favorite character in DC is Batman.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna do Batman.
I mean, you could for the Brave and the Bold he's doing. Right?
I know, but I don't even know. I don't even know who I would think of at this point. Like I can't think anymore about who could be Batman. There's too many.
Sure.
Not and it's just like nobody is like necessarily like popping up in my mind. Like who do I want to see play Batman? Like I don't know. It's not super interesting to me at this point.
Yeah.
So I tried to think more of actors that I would think would be cool in roles that I like in the DC universe.
Mm-hmm.
So I have 3, and I don't have to go. I won't go into like a ton of detail.
I only did 1 for myself. So
okay. Here's what I thought about. 1, Mike Coulter as Jon Stewart.
Okay.
Do you know who Mike Coulter is?
I don't think I do.
He played Luke Cage.
Oh. I don't know how I like that.
No.
I guess I pictured Jon Stewart a little differently than him.
I agree, because I would have also liked Yahya Abdul Mateen II, who plays Black Manta, to possibly be Jon Stewart. I think he would be a cool Jon Stewart.
I'd have to see his face again. I don't remember his face.
But kind of like I would be down for those two. I think like I definitely think Mike Coulter has the voice to do Jon Stewart.
Sure, yeah.
And I mean he's already got like the goatee and everything. So
yeah.
The other one, this might seem a little weird, but I kind of like the idea of Domhnall Gleeson being Wally West.
Domhnall Gleeson.
He played Hux in Star Wars, and he played Caleb in Ex Machina.
Okay, so I mean that's an interesting cast because he's a little bit older, so he'd be like an older Wally West a little bit, like early 30s maybe.
Yeah.
Because Wally West to me has been very teenagerish, you know.
Sure, but I guess I'm thinking of like a 29-year-old Wally West ish sort of thing.
Right.
And lastly, this one's just kind of funny. I don't know why I see it, but Adam Driver is the Riddler.
Why the Riddler? God damn it.
I don't know. I hear Adam Driver's voice. Riddle me this. I don't.
Yeah.
I can't even do an Adam Driver impression. It's just
because it's so deep at the same time.
It's so deep and nasally. I just kind of see that one
one's very weird.
That one made me laugh just a little bit. So but I don't know. The rest of I tried thinking of other stuff and nothing was really coming to mind, because some of like my favorite actors at the moment, like Pedro Pascal and Oscar Isaac, one that actually I do think would be good, you might like.
Okay.
Charlie Hunnam as Green Arrow.
I don't know who that is either. He
played Jax in Sons of Anarchy.
Didn't watch it.
Hold on. You might know his face. This guy.
I don't, but that's fine.
Never seen him? No.
He looks familiar in that picture for sure.
But he looks like he could play Green Arrow to me a little bit.
Yeah, I think he's got a very like almost like grungier Stephen Amell look.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
So I guess that. But yeah, like I don't know that many like. You could switch, I guess, races and stuff, but like I don't know that many like Hispanic or like
that's fair
roles. So like that was a bit hard, but yeah, I don't know. Like nobody's like, I don't want to say like a Timothée Chalamet is this. Or,
right. I guess
Timothée Chalamet is Nightwing.
For me, yeah, it was more. I kind of wish I had thought about it like that, because I do have some like favorite actors I'd love to see in superhero roles, but like my favorite character in DC is the Flash,
right?
And for me, like I really do love Ezra Miller's performance as the Flash, but it's very different than like what I read as like the Flash comics when I was growing up. So I personally want like a little more sophisticated, like education brought up, like Barry Allen, who's blonde. And for me, I think we could possibly have that with Lucas Till. I'm not sure who. If you know, I mean, you've definitely seen him.
Name.
He played Havoc in the X-Men prequels.
Okay, all right.
And here's the thing.
I've seen him in some stuff.
I don't think he's perfect.
No. If anything, you know who he could play? Aquaman. Bulk him up. Yeah. I could see him as Aquaman. I think he's got
more of the build for the Flash to me. But I guess what I was kind of seeing in his performance as Havoc is that he's just kind of yes, he comes off as like kind of a dick. So like that's not really what I want to bring in.
I mean, look
the Flash.
at every photo that he has. He's got a little like dickish smirk.
But I believe he can play it a little straight-laced and a little funny at the same time. And I think he does have the look. And I think he's got like the youth to him as well. I would really have to like screen test him or something as Flash before I could like make the final, because I'm not confident in it, but I can't necessarily pick out another blonde actor I'd be more confident in
to play the Flash. Yeah. Nothing's really coming to my mind. You know, it's every single time I think of like blonde hair and superhero, I just think of Homelander. So but I don't really want to see
Anthony Starr.
Anthony Starr like play another superhero.
Well, he's also just wrong to be the Flash,
and he definitely would not be the Flash.
No.
I could definitely see Anthony Starr in a weird way being Captain Boomerang.
Interesting. Yeah. I don't know.
But like, blonde actors, I don't have a whole lot on the top of my mind that like,
right. Yeah, like that would be.
I agree.
Yeah. So I just want to see a blonde guy in the role, but I don't know. That's just me.
You should cast me.
You're not blonde. You're not blonde enough. I'm sorry, Zack.
Wow. Yeah, I'm not blonde enough, dude.
Like I need someone to be very blonde.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know. I guess I always thought of Barry with black hair.
Interesting.
Is he not traditionally have black hair?
I guess.
Or dark brown or something? Because like to me, I don't know. For me, Wally West was Flash.
Yeah.
So I just think redhead when I think of Flash. So
I guess, like it's just, I guess that's just the run that I read where he was blonde. I mean, I was always under the impression that he was a blonde character, but I could be wrong.
I can look it up real quick if he's when you look at Grant Gustin's got like dark brown hair. I'm not getting a whole lot of like comic stuff without his
mask.
Without his mask. So I'm not sure.
We also got some news this week of a longtime movie getting a sequel. Yep. This is at least 15 years old, and Freaky Friday is finally getting a sequel with both actresses coming back.
Yeah. If you haven't seen Freaky Friday, it's with Lindsay Lohan and it's with Jamie Lee Curtis. And basically, short story summary. Lindsay Lohan is the teenager daughter, and Jamie Lee Curtis is her mom. And her mom, so Jamie Lee Curtis is like very work oriented, very
just traditional mom, traditional
mom, but she's very rigid.
Okay,
and doesn't like that her daughter's like playing loud rock music with her band in the garage. So she's a very rebellious teenager, and they're always fighting. And they go to a Chinese restaurant and they get fortune cookies. And when they break open the fortune cookies, they swap places.
Boy, it's a little racist, huh? Yikes.
And then that, you have Jamie Lee Curtis acting like a teenager and vice versa. And so, and at the end of the movie, they go back to normal and they like each other.
Right. Because they were able to experience the other's lives fully. You know?
Right. Now, it could be interesting to see like Jamie Lee Curtis as like an older woman try to play a younger woman, and then vice versa, Lindsay Lohan end up playing like an older lady. But I wonder if it's going to go in a different route of like they're going to switch places with other people.
Oh, yeah.
But
I guess
because like I'm just unless like this picks up years later, which it will.
Yeah.
And they're not like working as well as a family again, but I don't know if that's really what's going to happen.
I could very much see it like being a like, obviously the first movie is a comedy, but I think it could follow that route where like they're going to focus a lot on age maybe, and maybe like Jamie Lee Curtis will get back into like a younger body after being like an older woman and be like, oh, I don't want to switch back, and maybe that'll be like the plot of the movie is like getting her to try and switch bodies back.
Yeah, that
I don't know.
That I could see there being a cool story there.
Sure.
Or maybe like there'd be some underlying thing of that it's maybe like there's good things about being old and then there's good things about youth, or like valuing both of them at some point. Well, it's funny. I hope it's good. The original I saw like so many times in like the back of my mom's minivan and just with my sisters. Like I watched it a lot.
Yeah.
And it was very much a part of that 2000s vibe where it feels like Zoe 101 and it feels like pop punk. And
it does feel very 2000s. Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I love Jamie Lee Curtis. I think Lindsay Lohan should definitely have a place back in Hollywood, because I know she's been doing some stuff, but
she hasn't made a big presence back,
Yeah, I mean, the last thing that she did that people were like, Lindsay's back, was like this holiday thing she did this past year.
Oh, like a holiday movie?
Yeah, and like a Hallmark almost-ish thing. And like, I heard it was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, here's the thing is that I think it's very cool that, like, I think this was months ago, but both of them were like, yeah, we'd be down to do a sequel. And like there were no plans to make a sequel at that point. But now, like 6 months or a year later, we're like, just because these two are like down again, let's make another movie. Let's write a script, I mean,
I hope it's a good script and not just we're going to make money.
Right. Yeah. We got these two actresses back. Let's make some money.
So,
but yeah, I think it could be fun.
Yeah. And then our last topic before we get to Titans is Star Wars' The Acolyte. We got a description of what it's going to be. And I guess the showrunner was talking to Variety, or it was some news outlet.
Yeah, I got this from Dawn of the Geek, but they also credited their source as well. So, yeah.
But it's set 100 years before the Phantom Menace and follows a former Jedi Padawan and her master as they investigate a series of crimes that will eventually tie into how the Sith infiltrated the Republic in the prequel trilogy. Which, if anybody's been listening to this podcast or following it, I was talking to Ian about one of our first hypotheticals, which was I would love to see a Star Wars movie or show where it's like a true detective following crimes.
Right.
And that kind of sounds exactly like what this is.
I think the premise of that is great, because I love the idea of a master and Padawan going out in the field and a master training their Padawan, and the two of them kind of being like a young and old like buddy cop situation almost.
Yeah.
Now I weirdly don't love where the rest of this goes, because I was so looking forward to seeing the High Republic era and it to be very disconnected from the original movies that we got. Now we're now with this description, we're getting this kind of tied in to how Plagueis and Sidious kind of get into power by the prequel trilogy,
But why don't you like that?
Because I mean, like, for me, it's the same concept as like why I don't want the movie set 25,000 years ago. It's like, I don't want to see the origins of Star Wars, of Jedi, right? Like that can be left to my imagination, just like how Sidious getting into power in the original trilogy or the prequel trilogy can be left to my imagination.
But you like that about the prequel trilogy, if I'm not mistaken. That's what I was going to say. Devil's advocate. You've seen only the original trilogy.
Right.
You watched it when it came out in 77, 80, and 83. And they mentioned the Clone Wars and all of this stuff.
Right.
And you don't know how the Emperor came into power, any of this. And you were like, well, I could just leave it to my imagination. And then now, granted, Do we love the prequel trilogy? It's not the best, but people have come to appreciate it.
I really appreciate the prequel trilogy.
People have come to appreciate it. And now we're getting to a point where now you're like, why do we have to have this explained?
But here's the thing. There were plans for that story to be told by the second movie ever. like that was George Lucas's like vision, you know? Like here's the thing. I guess that's it for me too, is like last week we had a hypothetical about Guardians of the Galaxy and their characters, right?
Yeah.
And for me, that question was so hard is because I don't want to see these characters continue on without James Gunn. It's hard for me to keep tying things down to the original like 6 movies, if that's how you want to like call those, you know, episodes 1 through 6. It's hard for me to keep tying things to those movies because it's not George Lucas's vision. You know, it's like I get that we're getting some good stories here and there, but like the Obi-Wan show, I know a lot of people weren't happy with how that tied into to all the 6 movies there, you know?
Yeah.
And I get it. I don't think it perfectly ties in either. I think there's a lot of mistakes there. And I think this could be the same case.
Yeah, that Obi-Wan stuff where like she just kept calling him Ben, but then at the beginning and then you know, like people would say, well, she was keeping his like name a secret or didn't want to like let anybody know that she knew him or whatever. But I'm like, God, that's why I was so upset about Obi-Wan. That's why I was on my worst of the year was like, it was just so disappointing because it really, at the end of the day, that show didn't have to happen. It really didn't need to happen.
You're right. And in a way, I think you could have done an Obi-Wan show without Darth Vader, which I think
I would have loved it so much more because that
was the original plan, by the way.
I don't want to get too off topic, but I like that. Look, that fight was cool. Sure.
It was.
But that was the whole point of the show. And
was to get to that scene.
To be honest, I really don't love the fact
that he just walks away.
He just walks away. And I really don't love the fact that by the time that they get to A New Hope, that's their second fight. I don't know. I really don't love how that. There's things about Obi-Wan that I really like, but
yeah, I agree.
But going back to this, we don't know how it ties in to how the Sith infiltrated.
Yeah.
It could be very loose in a way. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't think we're going to get like a young Palpatine.
No, but I do think we could get Plagueis.
Which I've always wanted to see.
I do want to see Plagueis. I'm not going to lie.
So
I don't know. It's for me, it's just the notion like, I don't want everything to be fleshed out, but well, you know, I'll try and keep an open mind about this.
Yeah.
This was my most anticipated Star Wars project.
It's still very exciting to me.
I think it is.
I'm pretty excited about it.
It still might be my most anticipated. This just puts like a little bit of a downer on it for me.
Now, do you know about like Daphne Keene's character?
I don't.
And do you remember or know who Daphne Keene is?
No.
Okay, so Daphne, she plays X-23 in Logan.
Okay.
So she's, I think, is the Padawan. And
how old is she now? Like in real life?
She's probably in her late teens, early 20s.
Okay.
And she is going to be the first like main-ish character that is a Thelan in the Star Wars universe.
Okay.
Which I would have to show you pictures.
Yeah.
But there has been other characters that
have been Thelans,
right. But they've been like minor bounty hunters, or like in The Force Unleashed was a Sith Lord.
Right.
But they're just like these aliens that have like these horns on the side.
Okay.
So we're getting like an alien Jedi
cool.
That's
That's very cool.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, too many of the Jedi we have been focused on have been humans.
Yeah.
Like let's see some other races. You know?
Like, let's just, the fact that we're getting a true detective-esque what was it? Frozen meets Kill Bill. Like going searching for crime. Now I'm really nervous. Not nervous, but I don't want to hype it up too much in my head because I can see Disney going like it being a very lame crime.
Sure. Yeah. Oh yeah. A very lame mystery.
Very like super lame. Yeah. And I'm like, so I'm not gonna get too excited.
Yeah. Let's keep our hopes low and keep our hopes high and expectations low. Maybe that's the philosophy there.
Yeah, let's be like Peter LaFleur in Dodgeball. Well, let's keep our expectations so low that we'll never be disappointed.
Yeah, yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, that's about all of the
main news. Yeah.
Yeah. Lastly here, we want to do a spoiler review of Titans season 4 episodes 10 through 12, which is the finale as well.
Death to Titans. It's over.
For Zack, it's finally over.
It's finally over. I don't have to watch this show anymore.
So yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's not too many of you who care about Titan spoilers, but if you want to click off, I would do so.
Look, this is going to be a fun 25 to 30 minutes that we're going to talk about. At least,
yeah, it could be that long. Yeah, I don't know.
It might actually be shorter.
It could be.
I don't know. But let's just get into it.
Yeah. So
the last time that we talked about Titans, Gar had just showed up at the Doom Patrol house, and the Titans were back in the RV, and they were going somewhere.
Yeah, and Cyborg had just found Gar unconscious. So basically, episode 9 picks right up from there. Sorry, episode 10, picks right up off of that. And so Gar is in this like weird dimension that's not the Doom Patrol house, but
he's also been passed out for 3 days.
Yeah. But yeah, so it also pulled in. So apparently this is a part of the red, this like dimension he's in. And it pulled in Cyborg and Robot Man and Larry. I can't remember his actual, if he even has an actual like
Negative Man.
Okay, there it is. So it also later in the episode pulls in Starfire,
which how the fuck did that happen? She's walking through Star Labs, opens a door, and she's just in. She's in there.
And she immediately punches Cyborg for no reason.
Well,
he was running towards the door. He was like, "Wait, don't close the door," and was like starting to run towards it, and then she just punched him.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was like whatever. Yeah.
You know what was more weird than that though?
What's that?
Why were they fucking flirting?
Her and Cyborg?
Yeah. They were flirting.
Yeah.
It was weird. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
I didn't feel that at all.
Really?
I really didn't.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I was like, are they flirting? Like,
interesting. Yeah. Here's what I'll say about all of those scenes is
why are they doing a tennis match all of a sudden?
Right. I think that really was like major fan service. Like, I think the fans of these two shows maybe wanted to see those two groups back together and
see Cyborg say "booyah."
Or to me, the major fan service of this episode was Cyborg and Beast Boy actually having a relationship.
Yeah,
because they do have a back and forth in this episode, and you see it when they finally break out of this place. That they're like, they're having a back and forth about movies, and it's like they're trying to do it from the show. But
it's like literally, it's like they're about to get killed by this Star Wars compacted room, and he's like, "Do you know this movie? Oh, that's the best one. I know, right? But this, but do
you remember this plan? Yeah, I don't know. To me, it felt it felt very reminiscent of what that relationship was in the animated show.
Yeah,
but. I feel you. It was just complete
time and place.
It was complete fan service because it served almost no purpose.
No.
Like basically Starfire goes through a little bit of like a emotional journey.
She's been there for what, 2 hours and plays one round of tennis and goes,
you know what? I don't hate Brother Blood. I love you guys, and that's why I'm doing all of this.
And I don't know if I want to do this anymore. And blah blah blah.
Right.
What? Just goofing around with you guys for 2 hours made me think this thing.
That would have been fine for me if the other 4 had emotional journeys throughout their time in that house, but none of them did.
Yeah,
they were just there, and so none of it made sense. And basically they're able to break out, and the room that they go into that's like collapsing on itself is labeled back door.
Oh my god.
And so when they get back into the real world,
oh my god,
Tim Drake is like trying to hack into LexCorp's servers.
Yeah, because the game that Sebastian made is now live.
Right. And it's killing a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And putting them in comas. And so basically he's like, oh, well, that would never work. There would never be a back door for LexCorp. And they're like, you know what? Try it. I think it'll work. And
like Starfire and Beast Boy just looked at each other like,
that was the whole point of that place. Back door. What?
Like the Red sending them a message, but also trying to kill them?
Yeah.
What?
It made no sense, man.
I guess we should mention Sebastian is now teamed up with Superboy, who is now the head of LexCorp, which, I mean, you may be Lex's son, but you're running the company? How?
Here's the thing.
You were just in in season 2, people saw you on live TV like kill a lot. Like, how are you the head of...
I agree, which technically it's like since season 2, it's been like, I'm going to say it's been like 5 months, maybe 6 months.
Yeah, it's not like he's done a bunch of PR and been like, I'm sorry, I'm a changed person.
But I will say, I believe Lex left his entire company to Superboy. I really do.
Maybe, but...
because that was his legacy, you know?
Look, I like him in that, like, running LexCorp.
I do too. I think he obviously came off like a dick, like a corporate, like douche, but like... That was the right performance for that, and I think it worked.
But he's teaming up with Superboy to do with Connor to put his game out.
Yeah.
But even before that, he goes and meets his mom.
Oh, such a bad scene! Oh my gosh!
And she's taunting him relentlessly.
I was like, you just wanted to kill you. Like, what
I was like,
this?
Yeah. What did you think was going to happen?
Right.
Why are you dicking him around so much? Like he literally just wanted to. What did he say? He wanted to go grab some coffee. So because that's what he met Connor, and she's like, "Why are you so late?" And it was like, "You just want to get coffee."
Right.
Well, and then she just berates him.
And all he was like, "Well, why don't you ever ask what I want? We could, I have power. We could do great things with this." And she's like, "What are you, stupid? This Trigon gave you all your power. You're nothing without him, you idiot." Yeah. And then she's like, "What, are you gonna cry?" And I was like, why are you taunting him like this? Like, what do you think is that is going to accomplish?
Yeah, so he burns her, just melts her
in like one move.
Yeah,
and and so he's free to work on the game, but basically with the game, he puts this Trigon spell on it, and that's why everyone who plays it is going into comas and dying.
Yeah, because
they're like feeding into Brother Blood. But yeah, sorry, where were we based off of that?
So he's doing the game. People are are hurt. Fucking Bernard goes down.
Yep.
Goes into like some sort of coma.
Tim's boyfriend.
And at this point, it was either before that or after that. Dick sends Tim to Gotham to go meet with this.
So that starts in episode 11, I think.
Oh, okay. But continue with 10.
Yeah.
This game's happening. Connor's realizing, oh no, this isn't working out the way that I thought it was. And because he's secretly trying to take him down on his own. But I don't, maybe you have more clarity on this. I don't know where any of this came from, but Dick starts to talk to Raven and he's like, I found this text.
So
this dark magic text.
Basically, the reason he does that is because Raven and Brother Blood have a connection because they're siblings.
Yes.
Right. But
where did he get this text?
So he said before that he had to make a long distance call. And to me, so he mentioned that he had a friend in London. That's where he got it from. So I believe this is Constantine. Or maybe it's not Constantine.
Oh, I would have thought that it's Supergirl. Didn't she go to London or something?
I guess, like, for me, I believe because it's dark magic.
Such a fucking pull, Ian.
No, but I agree. I mean, I'm just pulling out the fact that like they mentioned Constantine this season.
Right.
The fact that he's British, he would be in London. The fact that it's black magic, just to me, it points to Constantine.
But whatever. But pulls this out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, out of nowhere, and is like, "Hey, I get if you don't want to do this, but
it's dark magic."
Yeah.
And then she's like,
"Yeah, let's do it." But no one else can know about it, just you and me.
And
which she doesn't really say why.
And then he meets this witch person.
Yeah.
And
so they do this black magic ritual, and
she spews out this bile monster.
I really did like that initial, like, the editing on her where she was like going kind of crazy.
Yeah, that
was cool. And then like where she vomits, I was like, oh, this is pretty dark for Titans. Even Titans does get dark sometimes. But the rest of that was so bad.
So stupid.
Basically what she vomits out turns into like this ghoul thing.
Yeah.
And then Dick has to fight it with this like magic knife. That he does a terrible job of fighting until the very end when he just gets to stab him.
Yeah, bad job fighting. The blade only appears when he really cares,
I guess.
And then he stabs it once, and then the connection's gone.
And then that's it.
Sebastian's power's gone, but her power isn't gone.
Yeah, for some reason, at the same time they accomplish this, they, like the other Titans, accomplish breaking into LexCorp and deleting the entire game, basically.
Right.
And so after all of that, Brother Blood just lost all of his powers. But we also learn at the beginning of episode 11 that he didn't kill Mother Mayhem.
Nope.
That she's alive and that she has healing abilities somehow because she looks normal like the next scene.
Yep.
And yeah, so I think all of that like culminated into him not having his abilities anymore. But yeah, I think you already pointed to it. Where episode 11 got good to great was when Dick sends Tim Drake to a mission in Gotham. He says, "Hey, look for this guy named Venta, and report back to me with what you find."
Yeah.
And so he gets to Gotham. He's wearing the Robin suit for the first time. It looks great. And he has a pretty great action sequence off the bat where he's like dealing with people with actual guns.
Sure, but here and at the end of his time there, it makes sense why Dick sent him there.
Yes,
but when you first are watching it, you're like, he has no right to be wearing that if he can't even take down these two thugs. He was gonna die if Red Hood didn't show up.
You're not wrong in a way. I do believe he would have gotten out of that.
Maybe.
But yeah, I feel you. I think it was a little early to put on the suit.
Yeah.
But you got to defend yourself in Gotham. So I kind of get him wearing it.
But Jason shows up.
Yeah. And basically through that whole episode, he trains with Jason at his place. And at the end of the episode, we're revealed that this was the whole reason he was sent there, and that Jason had been in touch with Dick and was like, train him for me and send him back to be better than, what he was,
which
and
he did.
yeah, absolutely. And I think he's.
I think he had a great hallway scene, like the hallway fight.
I would say almost every single piece of action in Gotham I liked. Like I was like really happy with it, and I was like, where is this the rest of the show?
Yeah,
because you get a little of it with Dick Grayson and / Nightwing, but the rest of it is just like. I'll touch up on it again at the end, at the finale, but like, wow, some of the action in the finale is terrible. And this was just a very pleasant surprise.
I was telling Ian before we started that I think what it is that when the character's in the Robin suit, it's like they're dealing with an internal battle that they're not really happy with. There's always that,
but it's also like a super grounded fight, you know?
And where it's like really messy. They're not like as good as, and so I don't know, those fights have always, whenever somebody's wearing the Robin suit, they've always been great fights.
Yeah, they really have.
But and so you would think with Nightwing, sure, like. They're cleaner. He's more experienced. Yeah, but they are infinitely lamer fights.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but I do believe they're worse. You know?
But yeah, they're not as good.
Yeah,
and it's anyways. But I liked all of that stuff. I thought that was good.
Yeah. The other half of that episode, though, is basically they're trying to find a way to take down Sebastian Blood and find him, and they basically find out this.
Also, they were like, we can't find any matches on him. He's like off the grid. He's at LexCorp Tower.
Yeah.
What?
Well, yeah. I mean, for a long time he was, but I don't know.
But while they were looking, I was like, what is this thing that you're looking like? What do you mean he's off the grid? He's at LexCorp. Like, I mean,
I guess for me, I figured he was just somewhere else, but I don't know. But so the other half of episode 11, they're trying to find a way to kill Brother Blood, and they find out that Lex had been working on this device called Project Starfire.
Yeah.
And actually, was it Project Corey? It was one of them.
No, it was Project Starfire. Yeah.
Basically, this device charged with her powers would set off like a bomb and kill, Trigon, Mother Mayhem, or Brother Blood, whoever was in power. And basically, they get it to like a 98.6% power level.
Yep, that's the exact number.
Yeah. And it doesn't end up working out when they throw to Brother Blood.
Somehow when Connor...
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we didn't... We should... Yeah, we
here's
should.
The thing.
We missed...
Connor comes back to the group.
Yeah.
And he is like devastated by what he's done.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. This is a scene that got me a little emotional. I genuinely... I love the fact when he said, like he wanted to prove it for like Lex and Superman, and then like what got me was like him including Dick as a father figure. Yeah. I was like, I honestly wasn't even sure that Superboy thought of him as one, so I wasn't even thinking about it. But like I love that moment. I love that like he was so clearly hurt by like what he had done. And yeah, I think that was a super bright spot for me in that episode. Like I loved that reunion for them,
No, it was good.
Yeah.
It was good.
But basically we get to that where the bomb fails and Connor is the one in the room with Brother Blood.
Wait.
Oh, sorry.
Before we even get to that.
Okay.
He kills his mom again. And then as soon as he does that,
he summons Trigon.
No.
Oh, that was after he hits Connor?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So he throws the bomb.
Oh, that's when he gets the suit, isn't it?
As soon as he gets hit with this bomb that doesn't kill him, somehow this suit appears on him.
Uh-huh.
Now, in all the promo, it looked cool, I guess.
Here's the thing. I actually like the suit.
That suit looked lame as shit.
I think it's not a bad suit, genuinely. I think here's the thing. I think it looks better than like the Red Hood suit. I think it looks better maybe than, or I would say probably it looks just as good as like the Deathstroke suit.
No, Deathstroke suit looks better.
In season 2, you thought it looked better?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, regardless, I liked it, but he blasts Connor immediately. He's like, my turn.
Yeah.
And one shot Connor. Like just Connor's dead.
Yeah.
Like, and it didn't even register for me at the time because I was like, they're not gonna kill Connor like that. Like they even panned to him with his eyes open, and I was like, nah, he's not dead.
I never thought he was dead.
Yeah.
I just thought he was knocked out pretty bad.
Yeah. I mean, knocked out with your eyes open, I don't think is possible, but
his eyes weren't open.
His eyes were open.
Oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he gets pretty fucked up, and then
he summons Trigon.
He summons Trigon while Rachel astral projects Luke Skywalker episode 8 style into the room, and Trigon looks great.
It looked a lot better than season 2 Trigon.
Much better.
Yeah. But there's a reason for that, clearly.
Because we didn't need to have him around very long because apparently with Mother Mayhem's staff,
you can just chop his head off.
I don't know how this is possible. I don't know how you can be like who Trigon is and then just just
stand there while you're getting cleaved in the neck.
Yeah, getting cleaved in the chest. Sebastian just starts stabbing, slicing, killing him.
Yeah.
So he kills Trigon, rips out his heart, drinks his blood.
Yep.
And then he's like, Mom and Dad were delicious. I still have room for you, Rachel.
Yep.
Super weird.
But that's kind of where episode 11 ends. And with the finale, his motives, Brother Blood's, change because of what happened at the end of that episode. Basically, he gets the wants and wishes of Trigon infused in him, and he now wants to destroy both the entire Tamaranian race and the human race. And he believes he'll survive because he's a god.
Now, how he knows about Project Icarus?
No, they don't really explain that.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how he knew that knowledge.
His plan at that point is Star Labs has a device that they built that's like a wormhole that can send planet-sized objects to anywhere across the galaxy or universe. And his plan is to basically just send Earth into Tamaran.
Yep.
And that would kill everybody. I'm not going to doubt that. That'd be devastating.
Yep.
But yeah, basically, the plot of the finale is, the team kind of, going into Star Labs and
reuniting.
Yeah, reuniting with Tim, and basically they're also trying to resurrect Connor with red kryptonite at the same time.
Yep.
And there's a whole finale fight with Brother Blood in that room with with the device, the wormhole device, Project Icarus, I guess.
Now, some of him killing all those people at Star Labs, kind of cool scene.
It was cool, but here's the thing. If that can work on any normal person, why did he not just do it to Dick? Dick's a normal person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dick should have just died immediately.
There's so many problems with that end fight scene.
I would say almost every fight in the finale there's a problem with, for me.
It's
It
insane.
starts off where they have to go against these super meta human soldiers.
Yeah, but
they're not even meta human. They didn't even scream that to me.
Yeah,
right?
and also he has the power of Trigon. He has this he's got a cult behind him.
He's so nerfed.
Doesn't use any of that.
Doesn't use any of it.
Doesn't care.
And
that they're getting that much closer. It's not on his mind as much.
For me, my biggest problem maybe is with Beast Boy in this whole finale, because yes, you see him go into tiger mode for 2 seconds and kill some guys.
Yeah.
But then the rest of that hallway fight before they get to the Project Icarus is, he's back in his human suit and he's just fighting like a human, and he's doing combos with Tim, and I'm like, what is this? Your kicks are so like they're so lame, and it's just like there's logically zero reason for him not to be an animal right now because he's infinitely weaker as a person.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, when I
And then
because
because here's the thing.
He's trying to pull out these
yes, that's what I was gonna say.
the
When
targeting
when he gets into the room, there's these 4 cables that are connected to the wormhole. That if you pull them out, then everything's good.
The targeting, it's because it fucks up the targeting system.
Yeah. And he's pulling them as a human.
As a human.
He could be a gorilla and whatever would be the strongest animal and just
tear it apart.
Sure.
Don't even have to pull it out. Just tear it apart.
Bite it as a crocodile or whatever.
Yeah.
But he's just.
So, I mean, if he did that.
Bad. It's so bad.
Here's the problem. The whole thing is so ill-conceived because as a writer, it's as soon as you go, well, my character has this ability, so he could just easily rip them out. Well, there goes most of your drama.
Yeah. So write better drama.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just
but and I think the sad thing about, and we can go into all the details about it, but the sad thing about this finale fight is this is the 4th finale.
Yeah.
And it's arguably the smallest set piece.
It is the smallest.
And it feels it.
I would say it feels like a set too.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't, it's not like obvious, but like
it was a
at
little
points
obvious.
It is.
But you feel it, and everything that's going on. It just blows my mind that Sebastian would engage in this 3 to 2 to 3 minute long physical fights scene with Dick, just completely ignoring what Raven's doing, completely ignoring what Tim and Beast Boy are doing. He's not even trying to engage with them at all. He's just fighting Dick.
Yeah, Connor does come in there,
but at the very end.
Yeah,
and I don't even know how Nightwing was aware that he was around, that he woke up and he was okay.
He's got super perception apparently. But here's the thing: as weirdly flawed as that finale was, it might be the best finale. Here's the thing: because it was so straightforward and the plot was just all right there.
I
right?
agree.
The rest have been convoluted.
Yeah.
Of bullshit.
But this is still convoluted in a sense because depending on how the wormhole is, just because the targeting system is messed up, if you wanted to launch the Earth, if you launched it anywhere else, it would still technically get destroyed eventually because it's in a completely new environment.
But I think they stopped it fully. I don't think they just stopped the targeting system.
It's felt like it was the targeting system, and then they fucked it up fully when they pretty much the Superboy blasts him into the machine.
Yes, that you're right.
But yeah,
so basically what happens at that point is they don't kill Brother Blood at first, and they're like, well, he's just going to do this again if we send him through the wormhole. He'll just come back eventually.
Which I don't know how. Well, maybe.
I don't know. But, basically Starfire's like, no, this has to end now, and I'm doing it. So Starfire grabs him. He flies up into the air, or they both do. And, the Titans rush out of the building and look up into the sky. And
also terrible CGI of her flying.
I guess I'd have to look at it again.
Oh,
but yeah,
it was rough.
But yeah, they explode in the sky, and the Titans are distraught.
They're like, "Oh, she's dead.
She died. Oh my gosh!"
And then they pull some. This is disrespectful to people. I feel. I hate when people do this shit.
Yeah,
because what they do is they do this actually really great scene where, I was surprised. It was a very good scene of them at Christmas and Guard talking about why he's a Christmas Eve kind of person and looking forward to things. It was a very nice moment.
Yeah.
So it played with you and you're like, oh,
because
damn.
It was clearly going back to season 3 because Tim wasn't there.
Right. And so they're tugging at you, and I would have loved it if Starfighter actually fucking died, but no. Everyone's crying. Everybody thinks she's dead. They walk away, and then she comes back down.
But Dick is still staring up at the sky.
Yes,
and yes, she comes back down, and he's like, "I thought you were gone. I thought I lost you." And she's like, "Yeah, I thought I was too." And they come in for a very emotional kiss, which that was great to see. I was genuinely very happy about that. And here's the thing. I want to point out two other moments from these past two episodes. I really liked the beginning of this past episode, the finale, with Corey and Dick. Basically, she's kind of having these same conversations with Dick, like, you know, what if basically she's kind of saying goodbye in a way, and he calls her out on it, and he's like, you know, emotionally, like, please don't say goodbye, you know, and like that got me. Like I really like those scenes, man, where like the Titans actually pour out their emotional shit. Like that's what I've been wanting from this season, or, you know, most of Titan stuff, and like we're finally getting it at the finale. I even liked a little bit of the conversation that Gar and Rachel had, where like they're both like feeling like this is the end of the line for them. You know, like they want to move on to other things, which was, I think, at the beginning of episode 12 as well. So I like those little interpersonal moments.
Sure.
And then, you know, we get a huge like 10-minute
Lord of the Rings,
finale,
Return of the King,
which I was so happy about. This was probably my favorite part of the whole episode, where, you know, basically earlier on in the episode, Dick makes a reservation for dinner, because he's like, hey, if we get through this, you know, I want to treat my friends and my family here.
Yeah, well, it's funny. He's like, 7? Yeah, we'll be there. What?
Well, it was,
you don't know that.
It was 6, but yeah.
No,
it was 7 people, including Crypto, but he only made a reservation for 6.
But I'm saying it was for 7 o'clock.
Oh, sure. Yeah, right. But yeah, basically they have a whole dinner, and, you know, Gar is the first to say, like, I'm going to be leaving the group. I
got to go to the Red.
Yeah, he's like, at first he doesn't say it like that. He's like, well, I think I have a lot more to explore there. But he's like, but no, the Red also needs me there. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Rachel was a little off. I mean, I'm not sure I love her way out, but
guys,
you know,
I applied for community college.
Basically, she wants to be a normal kid finally.
Yeah.
Which I think is valid, because when we see her in season 1, she is like a literal kid, you know? So like she's not had a normal life.
No.
And I think, sure, give her a normal life for once.
Yeah. And Tim's like, I'm not going to be far behind. I'm going to be in Metropolis and Gotham.
Yeah. At first also, I was like, is he going to college? But no, he's just... I
thought he was going to college.
He's going to be Robin in both Metropolis and Gotham, because he still has a boyfriend as Bernard, you know?
And also, Raven's like, I'm going to this community college in Bloodhaven. And,
I was like,
and he's like, it's pretty cool. And then like, but Dick's like doesn't say shit.
Yeah,
it's like that's where he usually was, you know, doing shit at. I
guess they never made that connection to the character. I don't know. Yeah, but that's I don't know, elite little, I guess, Easter egg, if you want to call it that.
What else?
And then
Connor's gonna.
Yeah, Connor is basically he's gonna be off in Metropolis as well, with
training with Superman.
Yeah, and
learning to fly. We
get a little glimpse of Superman's boots, and you know, we get the last shot of the whole series actually is Connor flying.
Yep.
I'm not sure if that was necessary to be the last shot, but that's fine.
Yeah.
But the real ending after that is, you know, Dick and Corey both kind of like realizing that they're alone, like pretty permanently at this point, unless they form a new group of Titans, and, you know, basically have a little cute like conversation about, hey, do you remember when Brother Blood was talking about how if humans and Tamaranians ever combined, they'd be the most unstoppable force ever? Let's maybe try that, you know? And I think it's cute, and I think it's a great way to end their relationship. or and just have them walking into the sunset. And I think it's a pretty beautiful ending for all those characters. But I'm curious to see what you think.
I think I really, really do like that last conversation that Superboy has with Nightwing.
Yeah.
Where he's like,
on the balcony.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like, I'm not the same person.
Yeah.
I still did those things.
Right.
And he's like, but you're thinking about them and you're doing that. You did them not for yourself.
Reasons. Right.
And, I think that did something for him that was important. So I really like that.
Agreed.
I think for me, I did like the dinner thing. I think it was nice. I don't love the Gar situation, but that's the only one that I was like, eh. The rest of them,
Gar has like the most reasonable out, though. Like he has to protect the red.
Yeah, but whatever. But it was. I mean, I liked it. It made me think about like stuff like that's currently going on with like my friends. Like we're all starting to do like
different things,
and I'm like,
yeah.
Why is Titans doing this to me?
It also really reminded me though, and I'm not trying to make this like these are two great things, but like it really reminded me of the Guardians finale. and here's the thing.
And also we should mention that the fights, they were again like they're very two different things, but like with the finale, they really just they weren't using their powers in any sort of
in a creative way. No, I mean they started off too when Raven did like the gun sweep and then they ran in but it just never really culminated into anything.
But what about the Guardians finale?
I think it's worse in this. Obviously, like I think it's very similar where you have like the character who almost died but didn't. But like in this, it's way worse because Starfire had no reason not to die there. She just kind of survived. Whereas like Adam Warlock saved Peter, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in this, you have like the dinner of them all, which I think is a great scene of all them explaining like we want to leave. But I think it was just done a little more organically in Guardians, like of the Volume 3 at the very end.
Yeah.
So. I think they're very similar. I'm not trying to say Titans is as good, but I think it's neat. Yeah.
I'm just I'm glad that it's over.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's very bittersweet for me.
Yeah. I mean, like I was telling Ian, there was a brief fleeting moment where I was like, huh. Because like it was a little sad because I'd pretty much spent 48 hours watching this show.
Basically, there's about 48 episodes, I think.
So
yeah,
it's, but then I was immediately like, I don't have to watch this show. And I don't, my opinion, I don't have an agenda against, Titans. It's just, I was really looking forward to seeing where it would go. And it just was very disappointing.
I think
because there's so many good things that could happen. And it always fucked up.
Right. There were so many things in this season that were like kind of, brought up to the forefront that never really paid off or like had real answers to, like Jinx was never resurrected and
I think she's
sure.
I think they were like, she's working her way back.
I guess. I mean, then, we never really explained Raven's powers.
No.
There's just like some little things like, I don't know. I think it would have been neat for like Tim to finally meet Batman if that was going to be a thing.
They're still showing the Batman, like the bat signal.
I actually thought the initial pan of Gotham looked really good in episode 11.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
would you, I don't know if it's too soon for you, but where would you maybe rate season 4?
Compared to the others? That's a good question because I don't think the season started off as strong as like other seasons, but it ended better than any of the other seasons for me. So
I will agree with that.
Gosh, that's a tough one. I think it's better. It's better than season 2 and 3. I would probably put it up there with season 1 for me.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's only because I think the finale, like I said, the finale is the best one of the series, and they have a good ending for the show in this, you know?
Yeah, but there's all that in between bits, you know?
I feel you. I do.
There's all that. Because even in like, I don't know. Even in like, there was bits of like, why is this thing? Because I feel like in this season, there was more like, we're not going to explain why this is happening more than any other season.
I mean, there were so many things brought into the season that was just like, yeah, because this is the DC universe, this exists, you know? So yeah, I didn't like that, but I think the overall story and tying it into season 1 was pretty cool. You know, so I don't know. It's hard for me to rank it, but it is a better season than maybe I was. Gosh, I don't know. I was anticipating a better season, but I think it's still better than I imagined it would be at the end.
I am really shocked that we never got to see Deathstroke's daughter ever again.
Yeah, I did think we were going to get her again in season 3, because she was such a heavy like romantic influence on Jason.
Yeah.
But yeah, they really were just like, nah, season 2 is it for you. It was Rose, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, she could have. I actually liked her as a character.
I did too.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I'm not complaining too much because like they clearly wanted to trim down the cast and they did it, you know? Like Wonder Girl never showed back up in this season. And she was a part of Artemis or whatever that the organization is. So we never see Dove again, and she exists.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm okay with it. But yeah, that's I think that's all the Titan stuff. That did go on quite a long time, but there was a lot to go over it, you know?
There was.
Do you want to talk about anything we watched this week, or do you want to?
I mean, to be honest, this took up most of the time. I didn't even get to watch Succession or Barry.
Oh, okay.
So the only thing that I saw that I saw that came out by the time that came out after we recorded was the new Love and Death.
Okay.
Which is just
still really good.
Really, really good.
Nice. Yeah, I saw The Boys season 3 episode 1.
So how do you feel about
that opening scene?
Cocaine.
Yeah, that was insane, bro.
Urethras.
I hated that. I hated all of that. I couldn't believe we were seeing every single piece of that scene.
Oh man, that is some of TV's finest work.
Yeah, it's a crazy scene. I don't know if I guess spoiler alert. In the opening of season 3, there's a superhero who can go really small like Ant-Man.
This is named Termite.
Yeah, and he goes inside this guy's penis through his urethra.
Hold on. He's coked up.
Yeah.
And
and he keeps sneezing. Yeah.
Yes, but he's coked up and he's trying to by going into this man's urethra to make him come, it's a sexual thing.
Yeah, arouse the man.
And
he sneezes when he's in the penis, and he goes back to normal size and
completely rips this man
in half.
And not even in half,
just in a brutal way.
Just explodes him.
Yeah. And that's
and then Frenchie and Kimiko have to, Kimiko has to stop Termite from going up his asshole, which was clearly a nod to the Ant-Man theory for Thanos.
Yeah.
Because he's like, get him away from my asshole.
Yeah. I mean, other than the craziness of episode 1, I think it was very cool to see the progression of how the media is viewing Stormfront. How I guess how A-Train is doing in 7 again, because he's getting a little fat and Homelander called him out on it. Do you remember that scene?
Yeah.
It's horrifying. Homelander's looking for a reason to kill somebody in this season. And
he's really upset that he's so chained down.
Yeah, and with this episode, he gets demoted to co-captain. Starlight is the new co-captain as well.
Yeah.
And she's terrified to take it.
Yeah,
but
she does not want to take that.
She feels like it's a better chance to make things right.
Did you get to the scene where Butcher and Homelander have a little sit down?
Yes. Ooh. That was a great little sit down. Yeah.
Yeah. That reminds me of the scene in is it Fast or might be Fast? But it's Al Pacino and another like big name.
Speed. There it is.
Al Pacino and Robert De Niro, and they're like sitting down.
I think it's Keanu Reeves.
No.
Oh, okay. But he's in Speed, isn't he?
He might.
Okay.
I don't even know if it's Speed, but there's like a sit down.
Right.
And like one's like the cop and one's like the criminal, and he's like, you know how this is gonna end. And I was like, oh.
Yeah. And I love the fact that they were like, yeah, you know what? Well, how would you like to have this end with just the two of us?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
I also love the fact
Scorched Earth.
You're right. I also love the fact that we got to see like Huey and Starlight in like full relationship mode. I think that's just I'd love to see that stuff with them, and happy that they're happy. Although we saw a little tension at the end of that last episode where Huey was kind of against her taking co-captain. But other than that too, I really like the fact that like Butcher and Maeve are working together. I think that's a cool little relationship.
Yeah. Did you?
Oh,
did they?
No, they haven't got there. If they're hinting at that, interesting.
Well, you'll see.
Okay,
it's not like a
and they introduced the temporary V in this episode, which is pretty huge.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. It opens up the possibilities of that universe so much, because anybody who doesn't have powers can just get it like that.
Yeah.
And so everything season 3 sets up in that episode, I'm very looking forward to.
And Huey is still covered in blood by the end of that episode.
Oh yeah, because he finally gets to see that the woman who he's been working for the past year is not a good person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, season 3 looks great so far.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's all I've been watching this week.
Cool.
And I think that's all we have to talk about today.
Yeah.
We went a little longer on this one, but last week we went shorter, so we're just making up for it.
I don't know. Who knows? You might edit out a good bit.
Maybe.
Who knows?
But yeah, so if you enjoyed listening to us today, think about listening to us in the future. We upload on Fridays and Saturdays usually. If you want to listen to us though, we're at Last Week This Week Pod on our socials, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. But you can also listen to us at Apple Podcasts and Spotify and Podbean.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to support us further, you can give us a like, a comment, a rating, a review, or subscribe. Any of those would be a great help.
Yeah, definitely. If you're watching or listening on YouTube, give us a comment. It'd be cool to interact with any of you.
Yeah.
Rating, especially review on any of the services would be amazing. It's super helpful, honestly.
Yeah.
So if you made it this far, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Until next time.
Goodbye.